evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here tonight. So this year, I'm 35 years old, and I haven't got married yet. I haven't had a kid. So by normal social standard, this is unacceptable. Of course, my mom, my friends, my relatives often ask me, why don't you get married? Why are you single? So those social pressure sometimes are too much that make me question my own worthiness. One day, I saw a quote, a very, very simple quote on Pinterest. Single by choice, not by chance. And this is a very big realization with me. The realization comes from the word choice. So what is choice? Life is like an interstate highway system. Although it might look like a straight line, it actually has many pathways that can lead to multiple destinations. The only difference is that you cannot turn back on your life path. At many times, you're going to stand in front of a crossroad, and you're going to have to choose which route that you would like to take. It can be as simple as choosing to brew your own tea or buying an expensive Starbucks tea, which actually tastes more like a sugar than an actual tea. Or it can be a life-changing moment, like which school that you're going to get in, or which career that you're going to take. Wait, this sounds like a decision rather than a choice, right? So what is the difference? It's intrigued me so much that I actually looked up in the internet and I found something very interesting. So by definitions, decisions is make up your own mind, right? It's actually come from a Greek ancient word. And pardon my pronunciation here because I'm sure it's going to be 100% wrong. Decided, okay. It means that cut off. And it means that decision is an elimination process in which you weigh the pros and cons of each of the options. You might be happy or not happy about your choice, your option, right? But that's the best option that you can have. However, choice is about free will. Choice is about an opportunity and possibility, unconfined by any limitations, constraints, or fear. You make your choice based on your value and belief. And therefore, choice is the ultimate form of freedom. Let me give you, and in order to make an effective decision making, only by a choice where you free yourself from fear and doubt and open for all the possibility and opportunity, then it can lead to an effective decision making. Let me give you a very, very, very simple example. So you and your friends are sitting in a Korean restaurant. So here is the drink menu. So the menu actually has many options, right? It can have a Coke. It can have an alcohol options. It can have a mocktail. And then you are on diet. And then you weigh your pros and cons of each of the options. And then you go for a mocktail. You even ask your bartender to put less syrup on your drink. Here you are just simply making a decision based on available options. And your options are limited by the menu. If you start by choice, you're going to choose your diet as the main driver, and you're going to escape from the limitation of the menu. And you're going to go for a glass of water, or just simply not having any drink. Okay, and I think this is where I remember already with the slide. So, however, another aspect of making effective decisions is having a trade-off. Trade-off is when you actually, you're gonna in order to get something, you're gonna have to give up something. Let me give you a very example. You actually got an offer to the management training program of Unilever. At the same time, you get an offer for an entry-level position of Grab, right? So what you gonna choose? Raise your hand if you choose Unilever. Okay, raise your hand if you choose Grab. Okay. So normal thinking process gonna be like this. So I'm young, right? I want to develop myself. I want to learn a lot. And Unilever is well known for being very, very good at training their employee. Many of successful men and women, actually, that I know, come from Unilever. So I'm gonna choose Unilever, right? Here is the interesting thing. There is a hidden trade-off that actually might take a longer term for you to recognize. Your friends who also have the same offer like you, actually instead of choosing Unilever, she's choosing to go for Grab. And after 2 years, now she's a rising manager in Grab. And while you are just freshly out of the management training program of Unilever, that's the trade-off. For me, I started my career as a qualitative researcher. Suddenly, my life becomes so interesting. One day, I met up with a doctor. The next day, I talked with a housewife. The day after that, I'm gonna sitting in a cafe talking with a teenager about her favorite drink. And at night, when the night getting quiet, I'm sitting in front of my laptop, typing crazily, because this is where my intelligence spark at night. But there is only 24 hours per day, right? So when I wholeheartedly devoted my time to the job, I actually give up my time for my family, my friends, and even time for myself. It doesn't mean that I regret my choice. It also doesn't mean that you shouldn't choose Unilever. It only means that you need to be conscious about whatever choice that you have when you're making the decisions, right? So that's the trade-off that we have to. That's the trade-off that we have to look at. Whenever we're making a decision, we often consider what we can gain when we're choosing one option over the other option. However, we never consider what we're gonna lose. Actually, if we want to make an effective decision making, we need to consider what we're gonna lose. And if the thing that you're gonna lose is something is so high value to you, then even you choose the option that provides the biggest gain, you're gonna regret, right? In the example of Unilever, if you know that you actually gonna give up, you actually are trading up your early career success to a longer term development, then you're gonna be content about your choice. But choice can be wrong. In fact, you might make a lot of wrong choices. I'm sure that there are more than one time in life you regret about whatever choice that you make. And you're gonna ask yourself, what if? You stuck in your own choice and get desperate, get frustrated. But this is what amazing about choice. Because choice comes from the free will, right? Then you can change your choice. From my childhood, I always dreamed to be a scientist, an animal scientist to be specific, and working in an Amazon forest. And I had planned to recognize it. I always was in a British class, specialized in biology. I got gold medal in biology at school and city level. I got myself into University of Natural Science, and I'm so miserable. The reason is because it turned out I enjoy to be around with everybody. I get energy from people. I enjoy bringing people together and connecting people rather than working in a lab. This is where I took a step that many people think I'm crazy at that time. I retook the university exam and got myself into the International University of Ho Chi Minh City. And here I am, doing what I love, bringing people together. This is actually a joke because I'm working in the beer industry. And people know that beer is the first ever social network in human history. And up to now, this is the biggest life-changing choice that I have ever made. At this moment, many of you are going to argue with me. No. There's so many things in life that you cannot choose. Yes, you're right. We come to this world with many pre-existing conditions. Your nationality, your gender, your upbringing, and even your physical appearance, right? But you might not be aware, but actually there are many of those things you can change this day. It's not abnormal for one people to have 2 nationalities, 3 nationalities, even 4, right? And Jack Ma, you know, the famous billionaire who actually come from a very, very modest upbringing. And he's even got rejected from KFC when applying for a job. Or many of you might know Hương Giang, the famous singer. She is the bravest person that I ever seen, right? She dared to live true to herself. Despite growing up as a boy in a society, a conservative society like Vietnam. Unfortunately, the fear of making wrong choice sometimes is too powerful that it paralyzes your mind. What if I'm wrong? What people gonna think of me? Those doubt and fear grow in your mind, and it's creating a psychological barrier that prevents you from making any choice. It takes a tremendous courage for you to break those barriers, the courage to make choice, to make mistake, and do it again. You have the choice, you have the courage, you have the freedom to choose how you want to shape your life despite all the external constraints. Just remember, there is always a trade-off in every single choice that you make. And as long as you are happy with the trade-off that you make, then you make the best choice of your life. So be courageous, make choice. Thank you.